You're a rebel, getting into trouble. You are kinda like a fire, like a fire, like a fire. Unpredictable, so original. You are never backing down, backing down, backing down. That's what I like about you. So dangerous, I get this rush when I'm with you. I go all in to lose or win. Real things up to knock 'em down. It's the way we keep our high, moving like a hurricane. There will come a time for when we can wash away your sins, settle down, but until then, we're like a hurricane. You're so different, kind of ignorant. You don't care what people say, people say, people say.
I guess I'll be on my way now. You just give me a...
What's up, y'all? Of course, nobody's going to say it back because our guest that was supposed to come today actually had a power outage and they couldn't make it. It is storming in the city, but I'm here with you and we have a great show for you. So, what's up, y'all? I am your host, Pink Princess, coming to you live at the Pink Palace in New York City. Thanks for joining me. And today, we are really going to talk about addictions, recovery, all types of stuff. We're going to talk about UequalsU, and we're also going to open up our phone lines. That's right. We're going to open up our lines on Facebook Messenger. That way, a little bit later in the show, if anyone wants to call in, have a chat, speak to me, or whatever you want to say about the show is fine. Just call in on Facebook Messenger, and I will gladly have a little chat with you. We're also going to play a little interview that I have streaming now. The Come Out Talk Show presents Dear Diary, a transgender love story to herself, now playing on Amazon Music and other podcast outlet stations. Again, thanks for joining me. Let's start the show. I'm not nervous today because I can do everything on the camera that the camera person can do because I trained them. So we are really thinking about not having a camera person because the show seems to go a little bit more smoothly when we don't have a camera person. So let's get down to it. Today, we are going to talk about the workings of our consciousness. That's right, the workings of our consciousness, The physical, the emotional, and the psychological consciousness are all the same no matter what the addiction. So when people hear addiction, they automatically think drug addiction. No, you can have a food addiction. You can have a gambling addiction. Yes, you can have a drug addiction. You can have a porn addiction, a sex addiction. The list goes on and on and on. You feel where I'm going with this? So the 4 stages of addiction and the recovery phase or process is as follows. Unconsciously unconscious, consciously unconscious, consciously conscious, or unconsciously conscious. I'll say that again. Unconsciously unconscious, consciously unconscious, consciously conscious, unconsciously conscious. It's a tongue twister, but I'm sure you can follow along. It'll make sense. I'm also going to take the Recovery Capital Assessment quiz. You can feel free to take it with me too. After we go over the steps, grab yourself a pen and paper, and like Wendy Williams would say, grab a snack and come on back. Okay, stage 1, unconsciously unconsciousness. Unconsciously unconscious. This means you're unaware that we are unaware. Just using because we want to, not realizing there is a problem, not thinking about getting hooked. I'll use myself as an example here since we have no one in the studio. I remember, in high school, dibbling and dabbling, following the crowd. Take marijuana, for instance. I never thought I'd get hooked on marijuana. But I didn't even know I had a problem with marijuana. It just started out at a party. I took a couple of hits. And then it went to the weekends. I would smoke. And then it was like every day I would smoke. And then it was like every day I would smoke at school and outside of school. And then it became a problem. But I did not think I would get hooked on marijuana. Follow me? All right. Participate in the comments. We're going to try to get them going across the screen today. Just bear with me. Stage 2, consciously unconscious. Aware that we are unaware. We realize there is a problem with drugs, not knowing how to change the behavior, feeling shame or torment, avoiding family and friends, no thought of stopping, just using more. Realization starts to set in that we may need help. So even in that situation with the marijuana, I'll dig deeper. I remember when my grandmother died, and my whole world came crashing down. And the only thing I wanted to do to make myself feel better was substances, whether it was alcohol or other substances. And that was where I was. That was my bubble. That was my safety net. That was my way to say, have an excuse as to why I could use that, what I was using. And also, it just gave me a sense of, I didn't want to deal with the fact that my grandmother died. So I wanted to escape, pretty much, is what happened with me. And I didn't know how to change my behavior. I was very embarrassed. And I didn't know where to turn to. Although I did know where to turn to, but I was so embarrassed because people had these high standards placed upon me that I felt that I had to live up to. So me saying that I had a problem, because how many of you are the strong one in their family? Well, when I had a family, or even amongst my friends today, I feel like I'm the strong one. I'm the one that people can call on because they know they can count on me. I'll show up and I'm understandable. I have empathy towards people and their needs, but I will not play Bobo the Fool. Okay? I call it how I see it. If you ask me for help, prepare to get the help. That means the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That means giving you some tough love in the areas that are needed. And I myself needed tough love at this time. But like I said, the shame and the torment, it played a big role in my life. And avoiding my family and friends, that only became natural because I didn't want them to see me like that. You see how everything is connecting? And there was no thought of stopping during this time. It was only continue to use so that I don't have to face the fact that I just lost someone who played a significant role in my life, and I was hurting. I was hurting bad. Step 3, aware that one is aware. We begin to address the problem, learn to go step by step. It takes a lot of effort. Stage where relapse most often occurs, phase of self-doubt, self-examination. Now let's explore that. You may, and this is consciously conscious, stage 3. You are aware that you have a problem. You begin to address the problem. You may ask for help. You may go to a 5-step group or 12-step group. I'm sorry. But see, I never went to a 12-step group. I never did NA. There were other routes that I took to maintain in my soberness and my sobriety. And I had my little journey, but we'll get into that a little later too. But you learn to go step by step. You learn tools. You learn different ways of thinking. We call it stinking thinking. We learn to get out of the stinking thinking, and we begin to see and explore who we are. Yes, it takes a lot of effort because this is still the beginning stage. Stage 3 is in the beginning stage, and it takes a lot of effort to avoid people, places, and things. In my case, that's what it was. And I'll admit, this was definitely the stage where I played self-doubt. I'm like, yo, I need to do this because I'm not strong enough to overcome it, or I need this to do this, or I need this to feel this kind of way. Now I was starting to realize, maybe, but I still wasn't quite there yet. I wasn't 100% in, and I wasn't 100% out. Stage 4, unconsciously conscious. Unaware that one is aware. This is the commitment stage. The obsession to use is lifted, because using is an obsession. You can think about it from morning, noon, and night. Obsess over it. You could try to avoid it, but if you don't tackle the thoughts in your mind, if you don't talk about it, if you don't seek help, then the cycle that you're in, it just keeps going and going and going. I've opened up about this before. I come from a family that it was just full of drugs. When I was young, when I was a kid, I was around drugs. I was around the cocaine. I was around people who did heroin. I was around people who smoked weed. I was exposed at a very young age. I'm talking about like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And throughout my adolescence, being bounced around from foster home to foster home, group home to group home, you become exposed to a lot of things in your life that I always say that I had to grow up quickly. And so the obsession is lifted. Living life on life's terms, becoming a productive member of society. It was very important for me to become a productive member in society because I had done nothing. Let me back up. I had set out on my journey, on my path, and then I got sidetracked. And there was a big gap in between that period that led me to stay trapped in, I call it a nightmare, and stay trapped in that nightmare where I wasn't actually living life on life's terms, and I was not a productive member of society. I slept all day. I was basically up all night, and I was with someone who strategically was with someone who had what I needed. Hear me in the spirit. Had what I needed and provided me with my needs. All my needs were met. Hear me in the spirit, in the bad way. But I didn't feel a need to be productive in society anymore. I could stay in my home and my partner would feed the need. Absolutely. It's tight, but it's right today. It's real. Obstacles are dealt with on a conscious, normal level. I don't like that word normal. I never like it. So let's say that again. Obstacles are dealt with on a conscious level, meaning we're conscious about obstacles in our path. The obstacles are what's stopping you from getting to the other side. How can we jump over these obstacles, dodge these obstacles, go left and right? Using is no longer a thought. Using is no longer thought of as an option. This stage 4, the unconsciously conscious stage, was the toughest stage for me because although I did not want to use, my mind thinks I'm human and it fantasizes a lot and it goes back to those dark places sometimes. And I find it my grandmother used to say this, late in the midnight hour. And then there's another song that I learned in church, late in the midnight hour, God is going to turn it around. But I don't want to go off in a tangent. But what if you can't? What if you can't hear God? What if you have no faith? What if you have no faith in yourself? You can't hear the voice of God. And late in the midnight hour was when I had the most toughest cravings and being lonely and just wanting to throw in the towel. It was a struggle, and I had to fight my way through that. But I only fought my way through that because I wanted to be clean and sober. I wanted that for my life. I got tired of disappointing people, and I got tired of just destroying my own life because I am responsible for my own recovery. I can't look for people to give me the answers when I know I already have them. So sometimes we feel so bad for ourselves, we need other people to help us feel better. Let me tell you something. Today, I don't need nobody else to cry with me, coulda, shoulda, woulda with me, beat me down. I know what I've done, and I already know what I need to do to cross that hump, get over that hurdle. The commitment stage. People begin to act on their ideas about recovery. Patterns of drug-free living emerge, and gradually things start to go right. I'm a witness to that. Hard work, healthy risk-taking, and doing new things, new supportive relationships, all mark this period of growth. Let's go back there. Patterns of drug-free living start to emerge. I'm telling you, when you stay abstinent long enough from whatever it is, if you want to lose weight, stop eating, exercise. If you want to stop doing drugs, get rid of the old habits. For me, it was get rid of the people, get rid of the numbers, go a different route when I go home. Don't get on the internet and visit certain websites that might get my gears going in a direction that maybe I don't want to. Because one thing I knew about myself and learning is that I have an addictive personality, and a weak spirit at times. And I easily persuade myself to walk down a path that I know I have no damn business walking down. Can I get an amen back there in the hallelujah section? And drug-free living emerged, and gradually things start to go right. When I started using, I became homeless. I stayed homeless, and I didn't know how to get out of being homeless. It was only when I decided to put all that stuff away, pack it up, get out of Dodge, clean myself up, get to know myself, clear my mind, a new way of living, a new way of thinking. It was only when the puzzles start to connect it to the pieces. I got on healthcare. I got in recovery. I got a new place. We're gonna go on pattern. And yeah, I sought out a great place. By the way, these handouts that I have today are provided by Exponents NYC. They are a great place for recovery and wellness. And I'd say this, if it wasn't for some of the tools that I learned at Exponents, there was many times I overdosed. There was many times I woke up in the hospital, not knowing if I was going to live or die or make it. I had a heart attack at a very young age. And although it's not something I'm proud of, it is definitely something I remember. And I never forget where I came from, because I don't want to go back there. I never want to go back into that spot. But these handouts were provided by Exponents, and I'm grateful for Exponents. I just want to give them a round of applause for the wonderful work that they do, that we do, because I'm a member of that team. So, the stages of change. Give me one sec. Stages of change. So, stage 1 is the pre-contemplation stage. Stage 2 is the contemplation stage. Stage 3, the preparation, determination stage. Stage 4, the action and the willpower stage. Stage 5 is the maintenance stage. And stage 6 is the termination stage. And that is my favorite stage. I'll tell you why when we get there. Remember that, the termination stage. It's juicy. So, stages of changes. Stages of change. Stage 1, pre-contemplation. Now, remember we just talked about unconsciously unconscious, consciously unconscious, consciously conscious, etc., etc. Stage 1, the pre-contemplation, goes hand in hand with unconsciously unconscious. It is the stage before thought. It is reflection or intention. I'll repeat that again. It is the stage before thought. It is reflection and or intention. So someone's using and they have the intent to quit. Okay, they've identified that they don't, maybe not so much, they think they have a problem, but they identified that something's going on, and maybe they're giving it a little thought about, maybe I should stop. But then there's this part of them that says, oh, I'm not going to get addicted to anything. That's not going to happen to me. And this is that stage. Stage 2, contemplation, consciously unconscious. It is the stage of realization, thought, and consideration. This is when you realize, whoa, I have a problem. This is the stage when you start to brainstorm and you start to make goals. You start to consider doing healthier things for your life. You start to consider, maybe for those who have sticky fingers, you'll start to consider not to steal out of your mother's purse or a table sitting somewhere on a talk show, and then, ooh, a little shade. I'm sorry, I won't get off track, I promise you. Let's lighten up the mood a little bit. That is the stage where you start to make peace with the fact that you have a problem. Stage 3, preparation and determination. This is consciously conscious. It is the stage of provision by which one prepares for something. You don't necessarily have to know what you're preparing for, but prepare. The act of coming to decisions or fixing or settling a purpose. I'm going to read that again, mostly for myself. It is the stage of provision by which one prepares for something. The act of coming to a decision or of fixing or settling a purpose. Take myself, for example. I knew I had a purpose. Take this show, for instance. It's part of my recovery, if it makes sense. Because I could be doing other things with my Friday night that will lead into my Saturday morning. Come on. That will lead into my Saturday afternoon, to my Saturday night, to my Sunday coming into my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a trickle down event. Okay. And then I'm no good. I'm no good to not even to myself. I'm no good to nobody else. So nobody can depend on me for anything. But this is the act of coming to a decision that I want to fix that. I don't want to get high on a Friday night and then ruin my whole week, because now I have to recover when that shit comes down, right? Regardless of what it is. Some of y'all can relate. If you can't relate, that's fine. Sit back and learn something. But we all know somebody. Okay? People say, oh, I don't judge. I used to say that too. But here's the thing. I judge now to a certain extent to keep myself safe, sane, and out of the bullshit. Okay? Not everybody that says I got good intentions for you are good for you. Keep that in mind. And we don't have to judge people. People are allowed to live their life the way that they want. All we can do is give them the tools. And I love people from a distance. I wish you well. I'm praying for you. I'll call you. I'll check on you. But we can't be in each other's space if I'm on one path and you're on another. That doesn't make me better than you. It doesn't make you less than me. Because I remember I was there. But it's not my right to beat you down in a time of need. Unless you coming in here disrupting my peace, my freedom, stealing from me, lying to me all the time, making me promises that you can't keep. The list could go on and on. But see, those are problems. So when you come to a decision of fixing or settling a purpose could be going back and apologizing for some of the things that you did when you were doing some of the things that you didn't want to do. And we're talking about addiction. And so, you can make things right. And this is the stage that some people start to reconcile with others. Stage 4, the action or willpower stage, consciously conscious. It is the stage of process, an act that one consciously wills and that may be characterized by physical or mental activity, control of one's impulses and actions, self-control. I like this stage of action and willpower because you can't keep always talking about it. You gotta be about it. Real people know what I'm talking about. I don't like when someone is always jabbing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. You should do this. We should do that. Blah, blah, blah. Because all you're doing is bumping your gums, letting out wind in the air, spitting on the floor. That's all that is. Make a plan. Put it into action. Let it work. Work it for yourself. It will work if you work it. Something I picked up along my life. It will work if you work it. Controlling your impulse. Because addiction is nothing but an impulse. It's up here. Okay. Take for instance, you get a craving. How many of you know the craving will pass within 15 minutes? Give yourself 15 minutes. I don't care what it is. That craving for that cigarette, I had to quit cigarettes. But in the beginning, I had cravings for that cigarette. Every 5 minutes, I want a cigarette, I want to pull my hair out. Stop smoking cigarettes. And the only way I did it is because I kept saying to myself, this craving will pass. This craving will pass. And then I applied that to the substance. This craving will pass. And shortly, indeed, it passed. But it's a day by day basis. You know, one thing I also do. Excuse me again. I give myself permission to use. Yes, you're like, oh my God, you give yourself permission to use that. Yeah. I tell myself, if you want to use, go ahead. If you don't want to use, don't. But I don't sit with this notion that I will never do anything in my life again. Have I? No, I haven't. Up until this point, no. I am proudly sober. I'm proudly clean. And don't ask me, what were you on? And I said it before and I'll say it again here because this is what we're talking about. I'm careful of who I let know what I've done and do. Because some people, like I said, they don't have the best intentions for you. I'll give you an example. I frequent one place, and I frequent it because I like to maintain. Okay, this is work. It's not, oh, I'm clean, I'm done, I'm good, no. You have to work out on this thing every day. It takes every ounce of strength I have in me to get up day by day and be productive and not sidetrack myself to what's the jabber jabber in my ear, this. There's a gentleman that always sees me, and he's very vocal about what he wants to do to me sexually. And I'm always standoffish, but I'm standoffish with people anyway. Like, I don't like everybody, and I don't want to like everybody, but I'm interested in learning, and I like people's stories. But personally in my life, I don't let too many people get too close to me, and for good reason. And he keeps coming to me, and he wants to have these conversations, and I'm not too rude, but I can get there. And so one day he mentioned that he dibbled and dabbled in something that I used to dibble and dabble in. And I said, I got to stay away from you because I can easily fall victim and trapped to that, but not really victim. It's either I want to go with you and do it or I don't. And I've been real adamant on telling him, no, I'll keep you away. But he keeps coming up to me. Every time he sees me, he's like, you want to go with me? You want to go with me to my friend's house? This was just a couple weeks ago. You want to go with me to my friend's house? And in front of a group of people. And I'm like, what's going on at your friend's house? I'll talk. I'll shoot the breeze. I'll shoot the shit with you. And I'm like, what's going on at your friend's house? He's like, oh, well, he's over there smoking. And I began to ask questions because now I'm curious. What are we smoking? What is it that you were trying to get me over there to your friend's house to do so bad? And he said, he's smoking. I said, smoking what? And then bam, he said what he was smoking. And I said, so let me get this right. You want me to go with you to your friend's house so I can get high with y'all, attempt to suck on some, we talking here, we adults, right? So, and y'all know I'm real like it, so I'm just going to talk. You want me to come over there, get high with you and attempt to suck some dicks that ain't going to get hard for hours and hours and hours, ruin my makeup. My motherfucking lips is hurting now because I'm trying to, and I probably got a rug burn on my, you see where I'm going with this? But you want me to sit there and get high with y'all so that y'all can both try to attempt to fuck me? And he said, yes. I was in shock because this is the type of people that I encounter in my life based upon past experiences, plus where I'm going, plus where I'm trying to stay and keep myself. Okay, go with me. So I said, that's very interesting. And we all laughed, the people around me, their mouths dropped. And I said, so you want to get me high and fuck me and fuck up my life, even though I'm telling you that I'm clean, I'm sober. And that takes strength, courage, takes wisdom, the tools in my toolbox. I was able to navigate right through that. And I was able to call a spade a spade. I was able to call you out right in front of your face. See, I'm the type of person, I stop bullshit right when it dropped. When that bull is shit, and I stop that shit. Clean it up, bye. It ain't for me. If it don't apply, let it fly. Cruella, no inboxes. Hey, baby, love you. No messages on this from the inbox. I don't want to hear it because this is my story. And I'm sticking to it. But on the action and willpower, I really love that controlling one's impulses in action, self-control. So yeah, pat myself on the back for that. Stage 5 is definitely the maintenance stage. It is the stage that defines the practice of new behavior for a period of 6 months or more. And this can last for several years. Remember I just said I have to maintain this. Yes, it lasts for several years. Let me read that again. It is the stage that defines the practice of the new behavior for a period of 6 months or more. And it can last for several years. I was a person that I'd get right to that six months part, right? Clean, sober, 6 months. And I'm like, yay, I did it. And then I'll be like, all right, I'm good. I'm fixed. I'm healed. I'm going to go do a little bit. Now I'm doing a lot. Now I'm right back where I got. where I started from. And that was my pattern over and over and over and over. So remember, I told you I stopped for a long period of time in the public eye. I've been doing work in my field, in this field, since I was a teenager. And it just became a point in my life where I took a gap. I stopped posting stuff on social media. I hid. I cut everybody off. And all I wanted to do was basically indulge. But then I started rolling on the river. Rolling on the river. And I started rolling in the deep. And the deep, when I say the deep, I started swimming in the idea of freedom. I started tap dancing with the idea of peace. And I maintained a certain respect for myself, not only for myself, for others, a certain empathy. Also, I don't take disrespect because I'm not giving it. I don't wake up in the morning and my goal is to disrespect people. Even when people disrespect me, I try, and I'm human, and so are you. I try to respond in the most polite way that I can, political way, because I know people are watching. I have contracts. You can go look at on my pages and see who and what I'm affiliated with, and these are people that I look up to, that have groomed me, my mentors. And I can't always turn up. Even though I may want to, I can't always turn up. But I have no problem teaching somebody how to treat me. I'm not going to always do it. Sometimes I'm going to say, well, you should already know how to treat me. But some people just don't know. Depending on how you raised, depending on your culture, where you come from. Come on, somebody. Don't be afraid to tell people exactly how to treat you, what you're going to tolerate, what bothers you, what you can't do. No. The word no. Period. No. Period. Not no with an explanation and explaining, oh, who, what, when, where. No. No. That should be efficient enough. I hate, something that ruffles my feathers the most is when I tell someone no, they ask me something, I say no. And they ask me this age-old question that I used to get slapped for asking when I was a kid. Why? I am not about to sit up here as a grown woman and explain to you why I just said no. Let your no be impeccable. Be impeccable with your word. My no is no. And the last stage, oh wait, let's back up. The period of 6 months. You got to be honest with yourself. You're not impressing me, I'm not impressing you on how much clean time I have, how much clean time I don't have. Remember, there's a stage of relapse where you may relapse over and over and over and over. That's the shallow end. Can't get to the deep end until you learn how to swim in the shallow end. Pitter-pat, pitter-pat, pitter-pat. Dibble-dabble. Yeah. Your recovery is for you. Your clean time, that's for you. It don't need to be broadcasted. It can be broadcasted. And people do like to celebrate a milestone. Yes, I get it. But some of y'all are liars. You lie. You say, oh, I'm clean. And there's no evidence of you being clean. Get right with yourself. Figure out why you feel the need to convince somebody that you clean when you're not. Shame, yeah. Guilt, Not having the tools, possibly. Not wanting to be clean, hell, that's your business. You ain't got to lie about it. Like you're not going to take a whole hit and then come in my face and say, well, I've been clean for a whole 4 years. No, I'm the one to say, get out of my face with that. And it's not that I'm judging, it's because I have a real empathy. I'm called to do a real work. And I'm not going to play where I don't need to be playing. And I don't need to be playing in lies and deceit. So a period of 6 months or more is the maintenance stage. Stage 6, determination stage. Ooh, I love this stage. Corell, you can ride me all you want. You know what? We're not even going to get to everything that we were supposed to. Our guest didn't make it today, and we were going to do something different. But Cruella, we're not going to get to it because I still have to take the quiz. So we gonna cut out but if you haven't already tuned in, go to the podcast. The Come Out Talk Show presents, but it's this. The Come Out Talk Show, Dear Diary, a transgender love story to herself. I am pleased to announce that Amazon Music has accepted us or me, because it is my podcast alone. And it has accepted me, and I am so grateful because everybody that I know listens to the Amazon Music and all that good stuff. And I'm on every podcast station platform. So if you like to, you can go by and check it out. It's my story. Mostly I talk about when I was little, but there's one interview on there with this young man who's in a gang that says he's in the DL. It was a conversation. And keep in mind, I like to ask questions, and I ask some of the questions that people maybe not want to ask. I mean no harm, but people's answers are theirs. It was a very ignorant conversation. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. And keep in mind, I only had 30 minutes because I like to keep the podcast on 30 minutes. But it was interesting, and it was rather ignorant, and my mouth dropped multiple times. But you let people talk and keep talking, and they'll tell you everything you need to know. Stage 6, determination stage, unconsciously conscious. It is the stage that defines a commitment. Determination stage, the stage that defines commitment. I'm committed to my sobriety. I'm committed to, and when I say sobriety, I'm abstaining from the stuff and the substance that ruined my life, that took over and took control. Am I going to have a drink every now and then? Yeah. Am I going to smoke weed? Absolutely. Will I dibble and dabble here and there? Who knows? But will I go after this one thing that ultimately ruined my life over and over and over, destroyed my life completely, took everything I loved and everything I had and kept me there, kept me down there. I thought that thing was my best friend. That's how up in my mind I was with it. We was in love, or I was in love. It wasn't in love. It lied to me. It made me see things that wasn't there. Made me feel a certain way that I had to keep going back to it just to get there again. And then it had the nerve to stop working. Oh! When it stops working, then what do? On to the next. Pattern. Keeping it going. It's tight, but it's right. And it's real. It's my story. And we bounced back and forth if I wanted to sit here and open myself, because I open myself up a lot on social media. And it's just because it's the come out talk show. It's for me to come out of the dark places. It's for me to come out of the shame and the stigma. And let me tell you this. I broke up a couple months ago with someone who's been dear to me, been in my life for 10 years plus. Okay. I broke up with them. They were a friend of mine, and they were being disrespectful. So I got disrespectful. But one thing they said to me, I'm going to expose you and let everyone know that you've been doing drugs. I said, well, let me help you out. See, you can never expose something that I'm willing to already talk about. You can never expose something and beat me down that I've already overcome. Yeah, that's back there. But if you want to play in my past shit, you are welcome and free to go ahead and do so. And I said, and baby, you have no platform to expose me. What, you get 1 or 2 views? But we're not going to go into that. Yeah, we're not going to go into that. But that conversation, when you're mad at me, You want to kick up my shit. You have fun playing in that shit. Because today that shit don't bother me. You are free to say whatever you want. But remember, everything we do, sometimes it has consequences. Yes, there are consequences for the actions. So I looked Cruella dead in her face and I said, let's do it. Let's do this episode exactly how it's going to unfold. And this is how it unfolds. But my commitment stage, it never looked better. It has opened doors for me to be a productive member in society. I've created community for myself. I am actively involved in community. And when I envisioned my life for the future, I did not envision that. I did not envision the struggle of homelessness. I did not envision being dependent on anyone or any substance. And I did not depend on other folks to make me happy. All that is my decision. I have one life to live, and I now have the tools to live it productively, actively, healthy, not having to lie to anyone, not having to impress anyone. I'm able to stand tall and proud and speak my truth, whether you like it or not. Maybe it'll help someone, maybe it won't. Maybe someone can relate, maybe you won't. And then that's all fine and dandy. But your recovery is yours and it belongs to no one else. So the termination stage also could mean determination of people. Yeah. I hand out pink slips all the time. Nope. Here you go. Terminate it. I got time for that. Keep the shit where it belongs. In the toilet. In the trash. Clean it up. Determination phase. Also, a determination stage can also speak to terminating some of the places that we used to go. And catch this too. We don't have to run with them folks that we used to run with. That's how I used to stay caught up. Trying to be loyal and faithful to motherfuckers that didn't even give a fuck about me. They just worried about where we're going to get the next one from. And that was it. Gotta cut things off. You gotta bang the nail on the head and the hammer and cut it off and all that good stuff. Cut it off from the, I don't know that saying, so I'm gonna say it. Cut it off from the source. There we go. Before I say something that's gonna get me in trouble with Cruella, who I didn't want to do the show today. Once the guest canceled, I said, well, all right, I can go do something else. Cruella said, nope. She said, get yourself in that pink chair. And she said, and do something. Do something different. So here I am, Cruella, doing something different. I love her. So here's a self-help overview. Self-help groups are voluntary, small group structures for mutual aid and the accomplishment of a special purpose. They are usually formed by peers who have come together for mutual assistance in satisfying a common need, overcoming a common handicap of life disrupting problems, and bringing about social and or personal change. Self-help groups can complement and extend the effects of professional treatment. The most prominent self-help groups are those affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, that's AA, Narcotics Anonymous, known as NA, and Cocaine Anonymous, known as CA, all of which are based on the 12-step model. For more information, you can head up exponents.org, or you can go see someone at exponents.org, and we will gladly help you out. So, yeah, that was great. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back. You're watching the Come On Talk Show. I'm your host, Pink Princess. We'll be right back.
see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like. You can see it like, you can see it like, you can see it like Bruce Lee.
I like that song. Kicking shit like. Some of y'all breath kicking like Bruce Lee too. So, I want to take the time to congratulate one of my friends and one of my colleagues, one of my mentors, DeAndre B. Moore. Last night, he won a GLAAD Award. Hold on one second, because I'm in the studio by myself today. Congratulations, DeAndre! I love him. And look at him. He's so cute with his little award, with his big award. And I'm just so happy to be on a winning team. Because, you know, how many of you know that you got to cheer for somebody? He over here. You got to cheer for somebody. It's okay to cheer for people. Even though it's not you, cheer for somebody else. That's how come some people stay stagnant where they at. Because they have a hard time congratulating others. So, DeAndre, I congratulate you. We worked together on a project, Only HIV, to fight the youth in the fight ahead. Young adults in the fight ahead, excuse me. And we are ambassadors together. He works at Prevention Access. And I just adore you. And I'm so proud of you. So you've heard me talk about my work with UequalsU. And so I joined UequalsU. Because of time, Cruella, I'm not going to take the assessment today. We can save that for another show. Okay? But with my work with UequalsU, I get to travel around and share my story. It's mostly my story of living with HIV. I sometimes get to make recommendations for the community. I am part of the transgender community, whether some people like it or not. I am a part of the transgender community. And I get to sit on a lot of conversations and conversations around healthcare and making change for the community. And one of the things I get to do is I get to sit on panels a lot. And we have a clip that we're going to show you right now. And it's not the whole clip, but it's some of it. I got to be a guest speaker at George Washington University, MD. For those of you that don't know what MD means, it means medical doctor. And this was my second year speaking at their graduation. And hopefully I get welcome to speak again next year. So join me in watching this clip from George Washington University, where I spoke on a panel representing UequalsU.
I'm always inspired by your story and your advocacy. Would you please introduce yourself to our students and tell us a little bit about your story and your recommendations?
Hi, I'm Yonsei. Thank you for having me back again. Good morning to the esteemed panel that's sitting here. And congratulations to all you students. Last year when you met me, I was actually in a homeless shelter when I did the panel.
But this year has been amazing and incredible. My doctor played a big role in me finding an apartment through referrals and being available, and it was COVID. So telemedicine was very important. Let's rewind to like 2005. That's when I met my doctor. I was diagnosed in 2002. I became HIV positive. I had no support. I did not know who to turn to, but I met this amazing doctor, and she happens to be part of the LGBT community, and she was just very knowledgeable, not only around HIV issues, but she was knowledgeable around issues that I might face as a trans woman. She also helped me transition. She was the first one I told that I wanted to transition, and she did her research. She didn't know too much, but as you can see, she did a good job, and I also did a good job also. But some of the challenges I faced with or people who are transgender and also HIV positive is mental health. So you should be really connected with the mental care provider as a doctor and know what's going on there, because sometimes we might miss appointments and many appointments, and you might be like, well, what's going on? So usually there's a underlining that's going on. Sometimes people sell their meds, so that will bring their viral load up and their T cells down, and you're like, well, I'm prescribing these medicine, and maybe they're not taking it. So it's very important to build a rapport. Someone said earlier, you should know about the community. And yes, that's very important, especially if you're going to be working with someone who is transgender, because we require a lot of care. We get surgeries and facial feminizations and affirming surgeries. So we really need to be connected to our doctors. I would like to say that my doctor was heaven sent. Like, I didn't want to get on meds. I didn't understand too much about it. I did my research, and
yay! So there you have it, a sneak peek into my life as an ambassador and some of the work that I do. Well, I mean, we had no guests today, but I hope I filled your time. I hope you learned something, and I learned something today. I learned something about myself. So question of the day. If you were lost in the woods, how would you find your way out? Addiction is kind of like this question. If you were lost in the woods, how would you find your way out? You're watching the Come Out Talk Show. I am your host, Pink Princess. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to end today with our theme song, Like a Hurricane. I'll see you next week. I believe we have an entry for the talent show next week. Hey!
You're kinda like a fire, like a fire, like a fire. Unpredictable, so original. You are never backing down, backing down, backing down. It's one for you, so dangerous. I get this rush when I'm with you. I go all in to lose or win. Nothing's up to knock them down. It's the way we keep our high, moving like a hurricane. There will come a time for when we can wash away your sins. Settle down, but until then, we're like a hurricane.
Get out! Get out! Here's my sweet I'll see you next time.
so different, kind of ignorant. You don't care what people say, people say, people say. I'm going crazy for you, baby. Don't know how you make it make me feel this way, but can I say it's all about you? So dangerous, I get this rush when I'm with you. I go all in to lose or win. Music something like that. It's the way we keep our high moving like a hurricane. There will come a time when we can wash away our sins, settle down, but until then, like a hurricane.